always loved to play the fool. They said it was a childish game, but now I've grown, I'm just the same. That's why when I'm walking out, people always stop and shout, "Fun time, Frankie! Fun time, Frankie! Ooh, fun time, Frankie! Fun time, Frankie! Fun time, Frankie! I'm feeling fine in a frivolous frame of mind. They call me Fun time, Frankie! Fun time, Frankie! Fun time, Frankie! Ooh, fun time, Frankie! Fun time, Frankie! Fun time, Frankie! I'm feeling fine in a frivolous frame of mind. It's fun time! Listen to that. That's not admiration. That's love. And the fabulous Skinnerettes, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome. Welcome to the Frank Skinner Show. And did you read that Johnny Walker, the Radio 2 disc jockey, it said in the Sunday papers, has been accused, might not be true, accused of dealing in cocaine and 200 quid a night prostitutes. Now, I don't know about you, but if I'm going to book a DJ... I mean, the whole party's right there, isn't it? Don't need any guests. I tell you, if he does karaoke, that's my millennium sorted. Now, seriously, though, and youngsters watching at home, if anyone ever says to me, "Do you want any cocaine?" I just say no. And if they say, "Do you want any 200 quid a night prostitutes?" I just say 150. It's, well, you know, it's a starting point. It might be 170 by the time you finish, but... Also, the two women, I don't know if you read this story, the two women who turned up were Russian. Now, Russian prostitutes, don't fancy it. I mean, I bet you have to queue for everything. Of course, this is a big cocaine scandal, but the last showbiz cocaine scandal, really, was Richard Bacon, the Blue Peter presenter. That was a big scandal. You know, even before that scandal broke, I saw him on Blue Peter, and I have to say, I was very suspicious. Was it worth it? Now, there's always somebody worse off. I was reading the paper this week about an illness I wasn't aware of called total allergy syndrome. And what happens with that is that you're allergic to everything, basically. It's called being allergic to the 20th century is the kind of nickname for it. And you're allergic to pollution and sort of synthetic fibres and everything. Allergic to the 20th century, what a nightmare. Still, not long to go, eh? Hey, New Year's Eve 1999, the family will be there. Should hold quite... Hold on, Jeff's getting out of his bubble. Be an emotional moment, wouldn't it? Also, did you read this week that I didn't know this. This is a Bill Clinton story. Apparently, world leaders, they carry handbags, a handbag which has got the button in it, the button that you press to start the nuclear war. And Bill Clinton carries one of these about with him, right? And he left it somewhere. Honestly, it's a terrifying thing. And it was described in the newspaper as the deadliest handbag in the world. They obviously weren't there that time. A wolf whistled Claire Short. It was bruised all down one side. Also, I don't like the idea of Bill Clinton carrying a handbag that has got the button that could set the World War off. I mean, you know, someone could kneel on that. Jerry Halliwell, it turns out, in this week's paper, was forced out of the Spice Girls. It was true, apparently. She was forced out. And that's a terrible thing. And apparently, you know, she said to her analysts that she would get through it. You know, she got through the Blitz. She could get through this. You might remember that Jerry Halliwell shocked Radio 1 listeners last week when she spelt out a four-letter word correctly. I was reading that they've found... This is a very exciting thing for me, because this is not a joke. This is a genuine item now. Don't panic, mate. It's not my old airport customs sketch, and you're the volunteer. This, I've got something here this week. This is from the Sterling Smith Art Gallery and Museum in Scotland. And this is an absolutely genuinely a 400-year-old football. I have to put this on to handle it. That's it. 400 years old, and they weren't sure if it was 400 years old originally, but it was identified by one of the Arsenal back four. They recognised it. Now, this was owned... this is an amazing story. This was owned by Mary, Queen of Scots. Looking a bit like Neil Kinnock, but never mind. Nevertheless, I would. And she was born 1542, which is just before half-time, and sadly was beheaded in 1587. But she used to play football, Mary, incredibly Mary, Queen of Scots, with the courtiers. And it was all in the paper. And obviously, being Queen of Scots, she only got as far as the group games. But she did used to take part, and isn't that is the real thing? I think that's amazing. And it reminded me of that story. Do you remember what Jeff Hurst scored a hat-trick in the World Cup final, and then the ball went missing, and it was missing for 30 years, and eventually it turned up in Germany, and the German government returned it. And at the time, an official spokesman for the German government said, "And if it comes over here again, I'll put a bloody knife through it." Thinking about it, though, it must have been a strange experience, hadn't it, playing football with Mary, Queen of Scots? Here you are, then. On your head. And now, one of the funniest people on television, ladies and gentlemen, Caroline Aherne. Have I gone too far, right at the beginning?
Not far enough.
Oh, yeah. It's early yet, madam. So, welcome to the show. The first time we met was when? How long ago was that?
God, it was years ago. I went to, you were doing a How to Be Funny seminar.
Yeah. Can you believe that?
I know it was! At the Forum in Manchester. And there's like about 20 of us went. And we watched your act, and then afterwards we were all waiting for the advice on how to be funny. And it was all stuff like, well, it was dead funny, but you were sort of, it wasn't really sort of...
Helpful.
No. But you were sort of going, you know, stand-up comedy, the trick is be funny. And we all went, ooh, and then went, you know, because we paid to actually learn this.
Yeah. Still, it was you, Steve Coogan, Jack Benny, Bob Hope, Three Stooges and the Marx Brothers. You've all done all right.
Not bad.
No, it was it was sort of the nearsighted leading the blind, is what it was.
Actually, you were really good, and you were dead helpful afterwards.
Yeah, no. Anyway. It's great to have you on.
I know, but it's not me that you're excited about, is it?
Well, I'm excited about you in a physical way. But I'm very excited about the last guest.
Me too.
So,
Isn't it great? I just got a glimpse of his beard in the lift. Well, I was trying to...
What, on its own?
No, the lift was closing and someone was going, that's him, and we just saw his white, lovely white beard.
Speaking of lift...
It sounds like Santa.
Speaking of lifts closing, did you ever used to do that joke at school when you put your hands like that and went... Can you open the door, please? Can you open the... Did you ever do that
Not
joke?
that one. After we went to your seminar, I did.
Well, now, I spoke to you recently, and you told me something which I thought was absolutely fascinating. Now, apparently there's a man, isn't there? Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I'm fascinated by this. A man who's a sort of a fan of celebrities.
Yeah.
And who writes to them.
No, he hasn't wrote to me or you.
Not yet.
He's writing to people, and it's just so stupid. He writes writes this letter to people, and it says, blah, 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 I'm a really big fan of yours, and I would like to, at your own convenience, carry you around London on my shoulders, you know, one afternoon. But it's just so stupid, isn't it? Me and you are gagging for them letters, aren't we?
I think it's great.
To get one.
A bloke writes to celebrities and says, I want to carry you around London on my shoulders. Isn't that the...
At your convenience.
Yeah, well, obviously. It's not a thing he can spring on you. You know? I don't want to be walking to work and suddenly he's underneath me. I think it's so great. I was saying to Caroline that what I would agree. If he's watching, I agree. And I'll tell you why I agree. All I want is to have the calendar in my kitchen to have marked on it one day, being carried around London. Wouldn't that be the I think we should do it together.
I wouldn't mind that.
Shoulder each. You'd feel more security, wouldn't you? So one thing that... I'll ask you about it. If you don't want to talk about it, just say piss off and I'll stop talking about it. But people, you had a reputation of being a bit of a boozer. is that fair?
Yeah. No, that's fair, yeah. Yeah, that is fair.
So... I mean, I don't know if you know, I used to be a very big time...
I know, you don't.
I was a real wet-the-bed type of a drinker.
Oh, I never wet the bed.
Never wet the
not
bed.
my own bed.
I've wet the bed with... I've wet the bed with someone else in it.
Oh.
I know, I'm not proud of that. I don't say that as a brag. It's terrible. I panicked and blamed it on them. And they lived in doubt for many years.
Well, that's David Baddiel for you.
Yeah. But I like to think that saying it on television has taken a load off his mind.
No,
So,
yeah, it was, yeah.
But you've sorted it out now, haven't you?
Yeah, well, I was really unhappy, you know, I was desperately unhappy, and just drinking to sort of numb things, and I'm fine now, you know, and I've gone back to drinking now, but only in a small, sort of social way.
Yeah. I'm thinking I might start again. I haven't had a drink for 12 years, and I think maybe I've sorted it out now.
You should do this. I had two really close friends round, and they put a glass of champagne in front of me, because I only like champagne, I hate beer or anything like that, champagne or cider. But...
Do you ever have pomade?
Yeah, I love that, yeah. But with me being dead famous now, it was champagne.
Fair enough.
No, but
You've earned that.
We were like that, and I had a glass, and sort of we were drinking, and they were both there, like waiting for something to happen, and I drank it, and nothing happened, you know.
No, it wouldn't, would it?
Well, I know, but I hadn't drank for 7 months, so we all were a bit worried. But it was, you know, it was... God, I don't mean to be the one to say this, but I think you can drink again.
Thanks. I think it's September the 4th, I worked out. I'm the same age as Elvis was when he died. And I think that would be a good time to start drinking again.
Well, if you want me to come round and witness it...
Yeah. Yeah. Separate beds, obviously. Because mine will be soaked. So what else? You're the interviewer, why don't you ask me a question?
OK.
To close. Anything you like. I'll answer anything.
How comes you love singing so much to the nation?
Well...
How comes you love inflicting it on the nation so much?
You don't like my singing, do you?
No, I do, but probably, you know, at the end of the night in a pub. Perhaps not on national TV.
Well, that's why I've done it, obviously.
I know.
I'm going to do it. I'll tell you, this is true. I was going to do a song with Kenny, right?
Oh, that's a surprise.
Yes. I haven't told him yet. It's Islands in the Stream, you know, the one he did with Dolly Parton. So I phoned up the wardrobe people and makeup and said, I'm going to be Dolly Parton. And it was a bad line, to be fair. But because of fantasy football, they thought I was going to be Warren Barton, the Newcastle United player. So they got all the kit in and that, so there's been a bit of a mix-up, but I think it's been sorted out. But I am looking forward. You used to do a singing act yourself, didn't you?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, then don't come having a go at me, madam. Caroline Aherne, nice job. I have to say there have been some strange goings-on in Albert Square just lately. Listen, Matt, No one's going to find out about Saskia if you just keep calm. And now, a country and western singer who sold over 100 million records worldwide. Ladies and gentlemen, the fantastic Kenny Rogers.
I like that.
Did you recognise it?
Of course I did.
Oh, I did. Well,
Ruby, don't take your love to town, wasn't it? Yeah.
I thought if he recognises that, he'll just walk straight, keep going. Well done, boys.
He looks a lot like me, doesn't he?
He does look a bit like you,
Yeah,
actually.
especially since I've cut my beard off now, you know.
This is, this is Bob Rogers.
Yeah. Bob Rogers, yeah. We're
Couldn't be
illegitimate brothers somewhere, I guess. Yeah.
It's possible. Bob went on to run a big line of fried chicken restaurants.
Didn't we all?
Yeah, you did as well, Kenny.
Yes, I did.
That is a coincidence, actually.
Yeah.
Now, Kenny did. Kenny had a big string
Yeah,
of...
it's called Kenny Rogers Roasters. It's roasted chicken.
Yeah.
We're in 24 foreign countries, and we have 80 stores in the United States.
Yeah. Do you have some with you, Kenny? It's well prepared for the... I'll tell you, it's, as you say, it's called Kenny Rogers Roasters. Are you aware of the fact that in English, in England, there is a verb to Roger?
No, but I have a feeling... I have the strangest feeling I'm either going to really like this or really not like this. I don't know.
This could be a very funny but short interview.
I see.
Now, let me explain this carefully.
Okay.
To Roger... To Roger...
Is to truly love, no doubt.
Yeah, truly love, you know, with some force. And so when you have a big sign outside the shop that says Kenny Rogers Roasters...
It does send the wrong signal, doesn't it? Yes.
I have to say, we've got an advert for Kenny Rogers Roasters, and this isn't exactly helped by the advertising slogan.
Juicy, tender, tasty, like you do it if you could. It's Kenny Rogers Roasters. It's the wood that makes it good.
I tell you, we're way ahead of our time.
It's the wood that makes
It's the wood that makes it good.
That's so true, isn't it?
I've said it once, I've said it 100 times.
I read this in yesterday's paper, which might interest you. It's called Why Women Don't Like Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
Yeah.
Third?
Third.
Right. And it says, there's some people you might not have heard of, but it says Robin Cook, Noel Edmonds and George Michael may feel that beards give them the edge in the looks stakes. But the bad news is that 7 in 10 women can't stand them.
God damn it.
Yeah.
I was so sure, too.
Yeah, it's not going to bother George Michael. But it says...
There's a Roger for you.
This is... yeah. Ginger Rogers. Because you've had the beard.
Oh, I've had it for 35 years, I guess.
Yeah?
And it's funny because I'd had it for about 10 years, and I decided one Christmas to shave it, just because I had Christmas off, and I knew it'd grow back in a couple of weeks.
The one time of the year it's really good to have a white beard.
Because everybody wants gifts from you at that time. So I shaved it all off, and I was okay till I shaved off my mustache. And I swear to God, I shaved off my and I thought my lip looked like it was that long when I shaved it. And I remember standing there thinking, God, I remember being better looking than this before I grew this beard. So I haven't shaved it since then. That's been 20 years, I guess.
I had a beard once, and...
I'd like to see that.
Would you? Well, it just so happens, Kenny.
Yes.
I've got a picture of me with a beard when I was 20. Does that remind you of... It reminds me of an old settee I used to have. Now, you are one of the great names in country music, I think it's fair to say. Now, a lot of people in England are a bit disparaging about country music. They think it's, I don't know, they think it's a bit sentimental and corny. But I had a friend...
And, you know, it is. In all fairness, it is. But it's by design. Country music is a music that's really about the people and their problems. And it's hard to talk about, you know, your wife leaving you 3 or 4 times without it being corny and sentimental. The great thing about country music is that when you go to countries like, we were in Warsaw, Poland last night. But, I mean, I was so impressed with how many of them really understood English, spoke English, and sang along with, you know, Lucille and Coward of the County and The Gambler and those songs. It's really fun to see different audiences and different dialects.
It's interesting you mentioned Coward of the County, because I saw you live a couple of years ago. And when you did Coward, I don't know if you're not familiar with Coward of the County, it's a story of a man who's regarded as a bit of a Nelly.
Actually, it's about a rape. It's a young guy whose girlfriend gets raped.
Comedy show.
Comedy show.
Yeah. And yeah, it is though. You're quite right.
Yeah.
They took turns with Becky, and there was 3 of them.
That's right. I'm impressed that you know that. Yeah.
So, but when you did it, so what happens is there's a supposedly cowardly man, and then his girlfriend gets raped by these 3 blokes, right? And then he goes into the bar and he beats the hell out of them. Mm-hmm. But when I saw it, I don't know if you thought it was a bit long for the gig, but you cut the middle verse out of it.
Yeah, I mean...
And the problem was, he was a cowardly bloke, and then these chaps did nothing at all. He just went into a bar and he beat the hell out of them.
But he knew they were thinking about it. And
yeah,
that was
well, fair enough.
No, you know,
everyone
it is.
considered him the
happens,
nutter of the county, the psychotic madman of the county.
But I've done that with a lot of my songs, and I don't know why. Over time, you know, you end up cutting verses because you get a sense when you're on stage what the attention span is. And people really want what are really signatures of these songs. So if you do these songs and they're elongated, they already know them anyway, so they know the verse was in there. So most people won't even miss that verse. You happen to be listening that night, which
I'm sorry, Kenny. I was hanging on your every word.
Please be careful.
What I like about it is that I find that I quote from country songs and from your songs all the time. Like in The Gambler, when it says, if you'll forgive the impression, you gotta know when to hold 'em, and know when to fold 'em. That's great. That's so true, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's a great...
I often just shove them to one side. But it is true that, you know, in life, I mean, I presume we can. It's a sort of metaphor for life.
Oh, it is. It is. And
so sometimes in life, you know, you got to hold them and stick with it, and sometimes give up.
Know when to walk away, know when to run. I have a new song that's on this new album it's called Slow Dance More. And the lyric is, on the thing, it says, love your neighbor as yourself. Don't use money to measure wealth. Trust in God, but lock your door. Buy low, sell high, and slow dance more. And it's a great country lyric.
Yeah.
I mean, this is one you'll quote too.
Now speaking of wealth, you used to have a private jet.
Yeah.
We've got a great photo. I think this is a great photo of you in your private jet.
Stuff?
This is from my private... There you are in your... Now, what worries me about this, if you look a bit closer, that window's not really big enough. Is it, for waving?
Well, we actually...
I worried you might have got stuck in that. Had you actually flown in like that, out the window?
We had no air conditioning, so...
Having your own private jet, that's about as good as it gets, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it really is. It's a wonderful luxury, I will tell you. I actually sold mine. I've had an airplane for 20 years, and I sold mine about 6 months ago.
So that's a bit... I was looking for one. Found it on... Something I'm fascinated by, and I'm sure I hope you won't mind talking about this, but you were a little overweight at one stage. Mm-hmm. And you didn't go the diet route.
That's right.
You did liposuction.
Liposuction, yeah.
Now,
in fact, Dolly Parton calls it Jiffy Suck. Said, oh my God, Kenny's been back to Jiffy Suck again, you know.
What is it, Kenny?
Well, really what happens is they take an area, in my case, it's hereditary. Yeah, you could line my brothers up and you could tell all of us just from the look of our stomach. So they go in and they make small incisions and they literally suck out the fat. I mean, you can lose 10, 15 pounds in one day by doing this.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And they just stitch you up and it looks normal.
Yeah, yeah.
It's so much better than dieting, isn't it?
Oh, of course.
That's great. Do you sort of say when?
Well,
will do. Just, you know, once you've bought the trousers, you just get it down to that
Get
level.
me down to a 34th.
And I read that you bought a couple of friends some liposuction as a bit of a treat as well.
Well, I was going in there, and the guys were going to go in with me, and I said, well, can we get a special deal if these guys get some? One guy had his chin done, another guy had something else done. But I mean, it was kind of a threefer, you know.
And they didn't need it done. They thought, well, Kenny's paying. What shall I have? What shall I have done? Maybe this earlobe has always been a bit trouble. So, is it something you did as a one-off, or do you...
I had my stomach done 2 or 3 times. Put a zipper in there, you know, just save time.
That's what you want, is a small tap. Straight onto the roasters. Come on, you'd be self-basting. I'm sorry, have I gone too far?
No. You cannot go too far with me. Well, I guess you...
Well, look, tonight, you are going to make my dreams come true. Kenny. Look, you've done roasters, you can do me. If there's any fans of, and I'm sure there are lots of fans of Kenny, you're touring, aren't you, Britain? You start in Wolverhampton, I believe.
Oh, yeah, I think so.
Be careful, it's a jungle out there. If Kenny's in a town near you, go and see him, because I've seen Kenny live, and he's really fantastic. And it's been great meeting you tonight.
Thank you.
You know,
Thank you.
You're the man, Kenny. I was singing those songs before I had that beard. Thanks a lot, ladies and gentlemen, the sensational Kenny Rogers.
Baby, when I met you, there was peace unknown. I set out to get you with a fine tooth comb. I was soft inside. There was something going on.
You did something to me that I can't explain. Hold me closer and I feel no pain. Every beat of my heart, we got something going on.
No, we don't either. Your love is blind. It requires a dedication.
All this love we feel, need no conversation. Ride it together, making love with each other, Islands in the stream, that is what we are. No one in between. How can we be wrong? Sail away with me to another world, and we rely on each other, from one lover to another, Islands in the stream, that is what we are. No one in between. How can we be wrong? Sail away with me to another world, and we rely on each other, from one lover to another,
You can write to Frank Skinner at P.O. Box number 20134, London, W10 6FS.
Barton. Oh, as opposed to Parton, I see.
Yeah. I knew you'd get there in the end.
Yeah.